Hi Martin, this is the example site we'll be working on. I'll show you how to create a navigation menu that automatically highlights the active section as the user scrolls through the page, as well as a full-width parallax image gallery. Let's start by creating the menu. From the WordPress dashboard, go to Appearance and select Menus. Then click Create a new menu, enter One Page Menu as the menu name, and click Create Menu to continue. Now that we've created our menu, it's time to add the custom links. Click Custom Links and start with the home page. In the URL field, enter # or hashtag followed by the anchor name home, and in the link text field, enter home. Then click Add to Menu. Next, create the About menu item by entering # or hashtag About in the URL field and About in the link text field. Repeat the same process for the remaining menu items. Just make sure that each URL begins with a # followed by the anchor name, and remember not to include any spaces. Once you've created all of the custom links, be sure to save your changes. Next, return to Brizy Builder, locate the nav menu element, and drag it into the header. Then open the drop-down menu and select the one-page menu that we just created. Next, choose the hover effect you want to use for your navigation menu. Be sure to select colors that match the overall design and maintain a consistent look throughout your website. Now let's set up the anchor links, starting with the home section. Before we continue, let's return to our menu. When creating anchor links, it's important to make sure that the anchor URL matches the block ID exactly. Otherwise, the links won't work as expected. As you can see, the home anchor matches the block name or block ID exactly. Now let's move on to the About section and enter the corresponding block name. Once again, make sure that the block ID is identical to the anchor link you created in the menu section of your WordPress dashboard. Continue with the remaining blocks by following the same process. Just remember to make sure that each block ID matches the corresponding anchor link in your WordPress menu exactly. After that, be sure to save your changes. In the next step, we'll add the CSS and JavaScript code needed to create a navigation menu that automatically highlights the active section as users scroll through the page. Here's the CSS code we'll be using. I'll also include it in the community post so you can simply copy and paste it into your website. As you can see, I've added comments throughout the code to explain the purpose of each section and make it easier to understand and customize. The JavaScript code only requires one modification on your end. You'll need to replace the section IDs with the ones used on your website. Once again, make sure that these IDs match the anchor links you created in your WordPress menu exactly. Otherwise, the script won't work properly. Now let's copy the CSS code. I'll be copying mine from Notepad, but since I'll be sharing the code in the community post, you can simply copy it directly from there. Next, go to Appearance, Customize, Additional CSS, paste the code into the editor, and then click Publish to save your changes. Next, we'll copy the JavaScript code. I'll be copying mine from Notepad, but you can simply copy it from the community post. Once you've copied the code, return to the Brizy editor and scroll down to the footer section. Locate the embed element, drag it into the footer area, and paste the JavaScript code into it. Finally, click Update to save your changes. As you can see, our CSS and JavaScript are now working correctly. The corresponding menu item is automatically highlighted as we scroll through the different sections of the website. Our final step is to create the full-width parallax image gallery. This is the block where we'll create our image gallery. Before we begin, let's double-check the block ID or block name. We intentionally left this block empty so we could build the gallery from scratch. Now let's start adding the images. This part will be quick because the parallax effect is already built into Brizy, so there's no need to add any extra CSS or JavaScript code. First, we'll add a spacer element so we can control the height of the block and properly display the images. We can always adjust the height later if necessary. Drag the element into the block and set its height to 400 pixels. Next, open the Properties panel and add a background image. For this example, we'll select one of the images already available in the media library. Because the gallery will span the entire width of the page, it's best to use images with a resolution of 1920 pixels or higher. However, be mindful of the file size, since large images can affect your website's loading speed and overall performance. Now let's enable the parallax effect. Open the Properties panel, navigate to the background image settings, and set the parallax option to fixed. Once you've done that, duplicate the entire block so we can use a different image for the next section. This will allow us to create a seamless full-width parallax gallery without having to repeat the entire process from scratch. Now that we've duplicated the block, we're ready to replace the image. However, before we do that, remember that the original block already has an assigned block ID. Since we only need one block ID for this section, we'll need to remove the block ID from the newly duplicated block. Leaving duplicate block IDs in place can cause conflicts, so it's always a good idea to make sure that each ID is unique. Now let's select the second image. Once you've chosen the image, there's no need to return to the Properties panel to enable the parallax effect. Because we duplicated the original block, all of the existing settings were copied as well, including the parallax configuration. You can now continue duplicating the block and replacing the images to add as many sections as you'd like to your gallery. Now let's save our changes and preview the page. As you can see, our new gallery section is working and the navigation menu is functioning exactly as intended. However, it looks like the gallery images aren't tall enough, so let's increase their height to make them more visually appealing. We'll make a slight adjustment and set the height to 700 pixels. Just to clarify, we're adjusting the height of the spacer element, not the block itself. Now that we've adjusted the height, it looks much better, and the images are now displayed more effectively. That wraps up this screencast. If you have any questions or run into any issues, please feel free to reach out and I'll be happy to help. I've also added you as an administrator on the staging site so you can inspect the settings and see exactly how everything was configured. You're welcome to clone the site as well. I've installed the WP Vivid plugin, which you can use to create a backup, download the site, and restore it on your own server if you'd like to use it as a reference for future projects.